up on Mountain News this morning. Kentucky State Police have collected more than 236 tons of food for families across the Commonwealth. And in Louisville, a ministry's good work collecting gifts for the needy for Christmas was undone after an overnight theft. And a Kentucky family is using the pain and lessons from overcoming cancer twice to help other children.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 6:03 on this Monday, December the 23rd. I'm Will Puckett. Thank you for tuning in to Mountain News This Morning. Madison has the next 3 days off, so you have just Brandon and I on this Christmas Eve. Brandon, not feeling much like Christmas in terms of weather-wise.
Exactly. It's not going to feel much like Christmas all the way through Christmas and beyond. Most of this week, 50s to 60s for daytime highs. Yep, feels like early spring instead of winter time. Let's take a look at some of those temperatures this morning. A little cooler in some spots like Ashland at 28. Prestonsburg at 37, Irvin at 34, and Hazard at 38. But again, you see a lot of 40s and 50s trying to show up across parts of the southern half of the area. And everybody now a little warmer than they were this time yesterday. Anywhere between 1 degree warmer to 12 degrees warmer across our region. The coffee meter, a normal day temperature-wise, but it is still a Monday regardless if it's Christmas week. It's still Monday, so a little extra is what you'll need. The emoji cast today, some clouds this morning giving way to some sunshine by tomorrow, or by tonight, or this evening rather. By tomorrow, though, we'll see sun and clouds across the region, but mild conditions continue. And Wednesday, a warm Christmas on the way. We'll talk more about all that coming up here in just a little bit. Will?
All right, Brandon, thank you. Well, we are following a developing story this morning in Harlan County. The mayor of Cumberland declared a state of emergency overnight following a fuel spill in the Cumberland River Sunday. The spill had already shut down the Cumberland water plant, but now the Kentucky Division of Water is advising all customers on the city water system to avoid contact with the water until further notice. That includes drinking, bathing, cooking, or cleaning. Mayor Charles Raleigh also advises people not to use ice from ice makers or drinking water from water fountains. The mayor did say that local testing had found no contamination, but the order stands until results come in from Frankfort, which is expected this evening. Officials will be handing out water later today at the Cumberland Fire Department on Cumberland Avenue. If you need help getting water to you or have questions, call the number you see right there on your screen. Well, just before 6:30 Saturday night, the A&B Quick Stop on Kentucky 225 was robbed at gunpoint. A struggle between the robber and someone in the store at the time was caught on surveillance cameras. WYMT's Lacey Roberts spoke with a deputy at the Knox County Sheriff's Department and has more details.
A trip to the store quickly took a turn.
One of the customers was at the cash register, grabbed him at gunpoint, took him in behind the counter.
Another customer jumps in, trying to take the suspect to the ground, but ends up with a gun to his head.
The perpetrator tossed a backpack to the clerk, which she filled with money, unknown amount.
The suspect fleeing the store in this gray Mazda pickup.
When deputies canvassed the area, they actually located the Mazda truck.
The truck found abandoned at a residence just hours after the robbery. The suspect still at large.
In 2019 alone, 3 A&B Quick Stops have been robbed, all owned by the same management, and the one earlier this year in January resulting in a death.
It's a big concern here lately.
The community asked by police to keep their doors locked and eyes open.
It seems like it's getting to be an occurrence every month on these robberies.
Police warning store clerks to be aware of their surroundings.
If you see someone approaching the store with it's warm out, they got a hoodie over their head or something, have someone immediately call 911.
Asking people to always have their guard up. In Knox County, Lacey Roberts, WYMT Mountain News.
Police do have 3 suspects in mind, but no arrests have been made. To Louisville now, where a ministry's good work collecting gifts for the needy for Christmas was all undone after folks at Highlands Community Ministries noticed thousands of dollars worth of gifts had been stolen from their church. Gifts, many of which were meant for those who will likely get nothing else this Christmas.
It makes me sad that people would do that because a lot of people are struggling and need something to eat. Our gifts.
However, those in the community are not letting this shake their faith. A wave of community members has already began donating online to replenish the loss, trying their best to ensure as many people have a Merry Christmas as possible. The spirit of giving is truly alive here in Kentucky. Kentucky State Police collected more than 236 tons of food for families across the Commonwealth. You have probably seen the troopers' cruisers in the parking lots collecting food. The troopers are now out delivering that food to families across all of the state, just in time for Christmas this Wednesday. KSP first started the Cram the Cruiser program back in 2010. Helping Hearts partnered with Southern Brothers Motorcycle Club. It makes Christmas a little better for those at Salyersville Nursing and Rehabilitation Center. Helping Hearts is an organization started by Kisha Collingsworth, who is a senior at Magoffin County High School. Each resident made a wish list, and thanks to the two organizations, they were able to get what they needed for Christmas. It is getting to be that time of year when many people across the country travel to visit relatives over the holidays. But with much of the country experiencing a wide array of severe weather, many people here in the Bluegrass, where things have been relatively quiet in comparison, should be aware of how crucial it is to be prepared for your flight.
Knowing when we have to get to the airport and leaving time between flights, those kind of things help your travel to go more smoothly.
What happens if flight delays? Take it as is. You can't do anything about it.
It is generally recommended that you arrive 2 hours early to the airport in order to give yourself enough time to get through security and find your gate and flight info. A Kentucky family is using the pain and lessons from overcoming cancer twice to help other children. This weekend, Aiden's Legacy, started by a Louisville teen, brought 43 cancer survivors and patients together for a private screening of the latest Star Wars flick. Alicia Ashley has the story.
15-year-old Aiden Johnson says he fell in love with Star Wars when he was about 6 years old.
Space and lasers and fighting. What's not to love?
He was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia when he was 2.5. He finished that treatment on his 6th birthday, then relapsed when he was 8. In the midst of his second battle, he started Aiden's Legacy. It's a foundation that raises awareness for childhood pediatric cancer and gives children an opportunity to be kids and not just patients.
And these kids share a special bond that they just, now they just want to be normal and hang out. So that's exactly what they're doing today, hanging out watching a movie.
The Johnsons partnered with Norton Children's Cancer Institute and the 501st Legion to host 43 cancer survivors and fighters at a private screening of the latest Star Wars movie.
It's amazing. I wouldn't have it any better.
Aiden's parents, Gina and Jason Johnson, remember having to rely on others when they couldn't find the strength within themselves during Aiden's battle.
We remember that fear. We remember the unknown. We remember the weakness that we felt, knowing that there was nothing we could do to control it.
After winning Aiden's second diagnosis, they want to be the support for families who are still fighting and give them a circle to lean on.
Usually when you're talking to normal people, they ask all of the questions about a cancer journey. But when you're around other cancer families and kids, they don't, and it's kind of refreshing just to know that someone doesn't care about all of that.
When the lights dimmed in the audience and their favorite movie started, the concerns and reminders of appointments, check-ins, and what's next were pushed aside as they got lost in a galaxy far, far away. Reporting from Louisville, Felicia Ashley, Wave 3 News.
What a great story. Well, folks along the Mississippi River are preparing for a true Cajun Christmas tradition. In order to light the way for Papa Noel, Joshua Wydert and his crew, Blood, Sweat, and Bonfires, built a massive wooden alligator on a levee in Garyville, Louisiana. They say they have been doing this annually since they were 12, but even though it's only wood, Josh warns this gator does bite.
You work it from the inside. There's a hatch door on the top, kind of like a submarine. You climb up there, open the door, and get inside through a ladder, and there's a little chair in there with a handle you could pull, and it'll make the mouth open and close.
Man, gotta love a good Cajun accent right there. On Christmas Eve, their massive 60-foot gator will go up in flames, leading Santa, or better known there as Papa Noel, through Cajun country. There's no eating this gator, though, only a massive glow it will give off on the night before Christmas.
Well, your Christmas Eve forecast on this Monday, clouds and maybe a little bit of rain down to the south there. We take a look at satellite radar. You see it right there on the Kentucky, Virginia, Tennessee border this morning, but starting to fizzle out. So that's some good news. Hopefully the clouds will start to move out as it moves out a little bit later this morning. 28 in Ashland, but 50 in Wise there. Everybody else in the 30s and 40s across the region. 60 today if those clouds clear. If they do not, mid to upper 50s, and then some sunshine expected later today. But again, the last few days we've been seeing those clouds hang tough with us, so the clouds will decrease hopefully today. Mild temperatures linger all the way through Christmas, and speaking of the Christmas forecast, we'll have that for you here in just a few minutes. Will?
If you like snow, turn it off. Just turn it off and then turn it back on when I come back. Well, thanks for joining Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. Coming up, Parliament has approved UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson's Brexit deal, potentially ending more than 3 years of political gridlock. And activists in Iraq are calling for the government to step down and hold early elections under direct supervision of the United Nations.